What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to my all-time Premier League top 10 striker list. Now, of course, the news about Sergio Aguero stepping away from Manchester City at the end of the season kind of put this idea into my head, so I thought, why not? Now, bear in mind, there will be some players on this list that you'll feel should be higher, should be lower, have been excluded from the list. There are players that haven't made the list that I have thought long and hard about, but what I've tried to do is I've tried to look at longevity, I've tried to look at the amount of goals that they scored, obviously how important they were to their team, and numerous other things that I've put through this bald head of mine to try and come up with a list. So starting off the list, kicking in at number 10 is this gentleman, Michael Owen. Now, he had a great career at Liverpool, nobody can deny that. We all have our own feelings about how he left, but one thing I think the whole football world will agree with is that this man knew how to put the ball in the back of the net. I'll never forget that goal he scored for England as well against Argentina. I think he was 18 years of age at the World Cup. Doesn't help the Premier League top 10 list, but I'm just talking about the calibre of footballer that we had here with Michael Owen. Somebody who Jamie Carragher still believes was one of the best players he ever played alongside. He did, of course, go on then to play for Real Madrid, Newcastle, Manchester United, but one thing, whether you like him or loathe him, one thing he knew how to do was put the ball into the back of the net. Moving on to number 9 now on the list, I've gone for this gentleman, Ruud van Nistelrooy, another top-notch, top-tier centre-forward. Somebody who, if he had stayed around at Manchester United for maybe a few more years, or had have gotten there a few years earlier, probably would have been a few places up on this list. He terrorised defences throughout the Premier League and deserves his place in the top 10. United fans, don't worry. You're probably screaming at me now saying Craig, you should be further up. There's a lot of United players in this list because United fans have been blessed, as have Liverpool fans, of course, with some excellent strikers throughout the years, but I've genuinely tried to be as fair as I can, and at number 9 I've gone for Ruud van Nistelrooy. Coming in then at number 8, I've gone for this gentleman, Les Ferdinand. Maybe somewhat of an old school centre forward. Some of the younger viewers might not remember Les Ferdinand, but I tell you what, I do, and the man knew where the net was. He knew how to score all kinds of goals as well. It wouldn't be a top 10 Premier League all-time list without including Les Ferdinand. So, if you're a younger viewer and maybe you don't know who Les Ferdinand is, or you didn't get a chance to watch him, go onto YouTube, search some of his goals, and you'll understand why this man is on the list. I could have gone about this list by just going from 1 to 10 of the highest Premier League all-time goal scorers, which would have probably seen Frank Lampard make his way into it. But I've tried to narrow it down to strikers. And again, I've tried to use things like longevity and the type of goals they scored, the importance of the goals they scored and stuff like that. So on this, it has to have Les Ferdinand. It just has to, folks. You know, I couldn't make this list without Les on there. Moving on to number 7 now, I've gone for this gentleman, Sir Harold of Tottenham, or Harry Kane as most of us know him. The reason he's probably not further up the list, folks, is quite simply he's still active. He's still playing the game. He's still banging in goals. I've no doubt that if I make this video in 3 or 4 years' time, Harry Kane's name will be a lot further up this list. He is a truly, truly great striker. Somebody who scores all kinds of goals, outside the box, inside the box, headers, left foot, right foot, penalties. He is the complete forward. He really, really is. And, you know, will he stay at Spurs for the rest of his career, or will he maybe go off somewhere else to try and win a couple of trophies? The future will let us know that. But one thing, it wouldn't be fair to make this list and not include Harry Kane on it, because, you know, he is a great, great goal scorer and somebody who has hurt me as a Liverpool fan a few times when we played against them, but somebody who deserves his place on the list and deserves recognition. At number 6 now, ladies and gentlemen, this man, Wayne Rooney. You're probably asking me, Craig, why isn't he higher up the list? Quite frankly, I have this lingering feeling, or this lingering doubt in my mind. I feel we could have seen more from Wayne Rooney. I feel he had more to come out of his locker. Sometimes you look at a player's career. I look at Frank Lampard. I look at Steven Gerrard. I look at Ronaldo, and I think they got every ounce of ability and every ounce out of their careers that they possibly could have. I can't say that I feel the same about Wayne Rooney. I will never deny his ability. I will never deny his goal scoring prowess. I'll never deny some of the important goals that he scored for Manchester United and of course Everton as well. But I just have this lingering feeling that he could and should have been an even better player. Now look, that's just my opinion. Some people might think that he got the most out of his career, but I always felt that he could have been up there with the real greats of the world, maybe winning a couple of Ballon d'Ors on top of it. Wayne Rooney is an outstanding forward, an outstanding player, but I just don't feel like he deserves to be in the top 5 because I have this lingering feeling that he could have gotten a little bit more out of his career. At number 5 though, however, is this man. Andrew Cole, or Andy Cole as we knew him back in the day, his partnership with Dwight Yorke was simply sensational for Manchester United. They terrorised defences, and you know, that was in the heyday where I was suffering massively as a Liverpool fan, having to see Andy Cole, Dwight Yorke and that Manchester United team conquer everything, go out there and win Premier League title after Premier League title, shatter goal scoring records, create one of the best partnerships the Premier League has ever seen. So I couldn't in good conscience make this top 10 list and not have Andy Cole on that list, because he is and was one hell of a striker, and he scored all kinds of goals. And you got to recognise greatness, folks. I say this a lot of the time. We have our own club allegiances, but I will always give you my honest opinion, and I couldn't make this list without putting Andy Cole on it, and that's why I've nudged him just ahead of Wayne Rooney. Now, for number 4 on the list, ladies and gentlemen, God, Robbie Fowler. For me, my favourite Liverpool player of all time. In fact, probably, one of my favourite footballers of all time. He got the name God for a reason. There are very few more natural goal scorers in the world that we've had the joy of seeing than Robbie Fowler. Again, scored all kinds of goals. The chip against Manchester United, whatever you think, Leeds, Liverpool, wherever he went, Manchester City even, he knew where the net was, and Robbie Fowler deservedly takes his place. I could go on for hours and hours and hours about my love and admiration for Robbie Fowler, because he got the nickname God for a reason. One of the most natural goal scorers, one of the most gifted goal scorers that I think all of us will have had the privilege of watching play his time in the Premier League. So at number 4 on the list, I couldn't make a list and not include God. Whether you're religious or not, Robbie Fowler deserves to be on that list. So God's at number 4. At number 3 on the list, Sergio Aguero, the man that put the thought in my head to make this video. Who cannot remember the legendary moment where Manchester City won the league? Whatever you think about commentary in football, whatever you think about Martin Tyler, we'll all remember that moment where he screamed goal, he screamed, I swear you'll never see the likes of this again. It's true. It was a unique moment. It was a moment that will go down in Premier League folklore, and it is a moment that no matter what you think, as a football fan, in that moment, we were all gripped. We still look back on it, and it will go down as one of the most iconic moments in Premier League history. But that's not the only reason why he's on the list. He go down as the leading Manchester City goal scorer of all time in a period where they dominated the English game. They won trophy after trophy after trophy. Sergio Aguero came in from Atletico Madrid, I think it was in 2011, and ever since then he has been a goal scoring machine. Father Time has caught up with him a little bit, and of course he's picked up a lot of injuries, and it seems like a right time maybe for him to move on and have that last chapter in his career. But we could not make this list without including the great Sergio Aguero on it, because he is an out and out goal scoring machine and one of the best that the league has ever seen. Number 2 on the list now, folks. This gentleman, and yes, I've used that picture, and yeah, I am that bitter about it as an Irish person, but I'll also admit to you that he's one of the players that would have loved to have worn a red shirt and played for Liverpool Football Club. Thierry Henry is just class on a football pitch. Yeah, this moment will live with us Irish fans forever, and yeah, we're never going to let it go. But that aside, he was one hell of a footballer. Jamie Carragher hates to see the clip of Henry going around the outside of him, running off the pitch and just using that pace. You knew what he was going to do, you still couldn't stop him. Thierry Henry is an absolute legend, somebody who we all enjoyed watching, whether you're an Arsenal fan or not. The way Arsene Wenger reinvented this man's career and got the best out of him, Thierry Henry deserves his place on the list. But look, folks, there can only be number 1 on the list, or one number 1 on the list, I should say. And of course, it has to be this man. Anybody who argues with me on this, I'm sorry, you're wrong. Alan Shearer deservedly takes his place at the top of this list. Not just because he scored the most goals, because he was a double hard bastard, because he scored with his head when he shouldn't be putting his head in these places, because he was a shithouse of the highest order. He could score left foot, right foot, volley, everything. To me, Alan Shearer has to be the all-time Premier League top goal-scoring great, because he just scored every kind of goal. Played in a Blackburn team that won the Premier League, but then played in a Newcastle team for years that struggled to win anything. Stayed there, stayed loyal, and kept banging in the goals. You can't not but admire the career that Alan Shearer has had. I love him. I genuinely do. I think he's a proper throwback centre forward, and I think it could be a while. Maybe Harry Kane will get there, you never know. But for me, right now, when I'm making this list, Number 1, right at the top, it has to be Alan Shearer. And look, of course, I want to know your comments, ladies and gentlemen. I want to know your top 10. I want to know if you think that I've missed a few out. There's going to be people saying, where's Didier Drogba? Where's Teddy Sheringham? I did look at the list. I did try and include them. But, as I've said, I have ranked them in order of not just goal scoring amounts, but longevity, how long they stayed. Didier Drogba, Teddy Sheringham, Dwight York. So many players I could have included, and I struggled to get it down to just 10. So as always, folks, I want to know your thoughts. Drop a like on the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. I hope that you've enjoyed this. Hope it was a little bit of fun. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.